Hello and welcome to a brand new week of ranked racing in RaceRoom. The schedule was released this morning and this combination immediately jumped out to me. It's the F4 at Suzuka, a combo that we ran just a couple of weeks ago in the SCB Sunday Series. So with the car and the track both fresh in the memory from that race a fortnight ago, I thought it was the perfect place to start my week of racing in RaceRoom. We've qualified 13th on the grid, so without further ado, let's get over to the live action and see how we get on. Oh, not the best start there. I think I was a bit slow releasing the launch control. The guy to the right certainly got off to a flyer, and there's some contact already in front of us. Two cars banging wheels. I'm just going to ease off slightly. I don't want any part of that. And then, yeah, look, the yellow car has got all out of shape. He's on the grass. He's going to rejoin too. This could get messy. I'm just going to hang back. He's still out of shape. Dirty tyres as well now. Oh, I perhaps could have snuck up the inside there, but because he was so out of shape, I thought better of it. It looks like we've lost someone else on the left, though, so that's given us one position back at least. Oh, that was an intense first few corners, but we've got through them unscathed, so that's the most important thing. And we're actually in 13th place. We've maintained our grid position too, but we're going to come under real pressure from behind now. We've got a car to the left and the right. We might be three wide here if we're not careful. I've certainly got to move up the inside that I can expect. I'm going to leave it a little bit wider. He's not going to push it through yet. Is he going to on this turn? He's not. We're still holding on to it just as we lose someone else hitting the wall hard. Oh, that was a big off under the bridge. I just need to brake cautiously into this hairpin on the first lap. The tyres are still cold, but we've got around without spinning. That's good news. And we've started to open up a little bit of a gap behind now. That's important. I need some breathing room. So we're in 12th place. We've got Frankie Leone directly in front of us. He's half a second ahead. So we should be able to stick with these guys. And in fact, the yellow car a couple of places ahead has drifted wide and he's run out onto the gravel, so that's given us the perfect chance to take 11th. Oh, but look at the speed Tafino's got behind me coming out of that turn. I don't think we're going to hold on to 11th here because he's come out of my draft. He's pulled alongside. He's not going to give me much room by the looks of things, so I'm just going to ease off. He's got the inside line. I was hoping he might drift a bit wide there, but he's held on to it. So we are back to 12th. Oh, and there's another move up the inside into the chicane. I think I'm going to have to let him go as well. That's Herrero. So we've dropped 2 positions in the space of about 100 yards there. I think I was a bit overcautious on the brakes into that chicane. It certainly wasn't a dive bomb by Herrero. He was in full control throughout and it was a really neat pass. He was just later on the brakes than me and managed to carry more speed into the corner. And speaking of carrying speed into the corner, I might have had too much of it there because I almost took a chunk out of the rear end of Herrero's car, but we managed to get around it okay. I was on the verge of being out of control there. And now I've got Carlos Riera right on my tail. He's obviously recovered from that off track at the end of the first lap. And he's looking like he wants to make a pass, so I'm going to have to up my defensive game here. I don't want to give away any more positions. And oh, we've lost someone else to the right there. That was another spectacular off. I don't even know who that was who crashed, but we've got more important things to worry about at the moment. We've got Riera having a sniff up the inside. He thought better of it. I'm going to have to try and defend this line. I run a bit wide. That might invite Riera to pull up alongside me, but as long as I've got the speed, I should have the inside line for the hairpin. No, he's just got too much speed. He is going to leave me some space though, but I just can't get the car turned tightly enough, so we've lost that position. We're back down to 13th. Right, now we've finally got time to take a breath after a chaotic first 2 laps at Suzuka. Let's go back and check out a replay of the start. We didn't get away that well. I think I was just a bit hesitant releasing the launch control and we lost a couple of positions, but there was some real argy-bargy in front of me, so I eased back even a little bit further. I didn't want to get caught up in anything. I hung out wide and that lost me another position up the inside. Look at the yellow car. He's on the grass and he rejoins in front of me, but in front of him there's even more banging and barging. And keep your eye on the green and white car in 4th. He's going to come off second best. He's going to get spun around. And that's his race over within the first few corners. Fast forward a couple of turns and now we're concentrating on the number 33 in the white Boss livery. We saw the crash happen right in front of us, and it was caused by just running it a bit wide and getting on the gravel. The rear suddenly steps out and he hits that barrier hard. We swapped a few more positions before the lap was out, but let's fast forward to lap 2 because we'll see the two 3M cars, teammates if you will, having a right tussle ahead of us, and it looks like it's going to be a nudge from behind. Yes, it is, and it sends him careering into the barrier as well. That gave us another position. It looks like Riera's having a sniff up the inside of Herrero into turn 1. I wish I was a bit closer to these guys to have a better view, but I'm struggling to stick with them. But someone has run wide. Who's that? It's Rainer Sutter, so we're going to get right on his tail now. Let's try our best to stick with him. Feels like we're starting to get a bit more grip in the tyres. I can come through these turns with a bit more confidence now. Well, the yellows are out, so what's happened now? There's a huge cloud of dust. Oh, there's a car right on the racing line. We had to take evasive action there. I had to get off the gas a bit. Sutter looked a bit braver than me. It looked like he carried on full pelt regardless. But yeah, I did have to ease off the throttle slightly, and someone else drifting out wide under the bridge. So in the space of a couple of corners, we've gained 2 positions, up to 11th, and there's another dust cloud, and more yellow flags are out. It's all kicking off on lap 3 at Suzuka. There's cars everywhere. In all the chaos, I think I might have got a bit too close to Sutter in front. I tapped the rear of his car, and I think it's given us both 4 instant points. But it was the gentlest of nudges. No damage done and no speed lost, so we can get on with things. Oh no, Wetherill in 9th is getting all out of shape. He's tried to save it, but he's not managed it. And Sutter had to get off the gas there. That's going to play right into my hands because I've managed to get a bit more speed out of the turn while Sutter had to ease off. Oh, I almost feel guilty about making that pass because Sutter could do nothing about it. But the opportunity was there, and there's another yellow. There's cars going off left, right and centre. We've lost another of the front runners. And Sutter's right alongside me on the outside now. I can't get the car stopped into the chicane. Sutter saw it coming. He switches. And now he's on the inside line again as we tear down to the start-finish straight. Oh, this is great battling at Suzuka. I've just about got my nose ahead of Sutter at the moment. I suspect he might tuck back in behind me to try and pick up some draft. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing, look. I've just got to try and hold it firm, take a defensive line into T1. There's another yellow out. Have we lost someone else? No, whoever we've lost has rejoined in front of us. That's Herrera again by the look of it. Might have just drifted off track a bit and kicked up a bit of dust. It's cost him a second or two. And thankfully, looking in my rearview mirror, it seems we have managed just to open up a little bit of a gap over Sutter, so I will be grateful of some breathing room after that chaotic third lap. Yeah, what a lap that was. There was cars going off left, right and centre, and we ended it in 8th position, incredibly. So let's check out some replays and see if we can get to the bottom of what exactly happened. And we'll start with watching Mark Barroso. He's at the back of this pack. He makes 1 position when that yellow car runs wide, but he gets on the gas too early and loses the rear, spins into the wall. And then, yeah, comes to a rest right on the racing line. I think that was me that just raced past them, the red car. Oh, great recovery though, 10 out of 10 for style. Getting back onto the track and getting going again, and does it safely too. A couple of corners later, now we're looking at this yellow car. He takes a lot of the curb there, but it doesn't seem to unsettle him. However, he gets far more unsettled exiting this turn again. Same type of instant, gets on the gas too early and the rear steps out. And there's Sutter and myself racing past. But the mayhem shows no signs of slowing down because now we're riding with the 9th place driver, Rich Wetherill, as he approaches these 2 left-handers. He gets a little bit squirrely there, but nothing too much to worry about. But then he's another victim of the rear end stepping out. He tries to save it, look, right into the path of Sutter. Sutter has no choice but to ease off the gas. That puts me right in his draft. We can just see in the background I'm making my move around the outside, but instead we're focusing on the car in front of us because he is going to bin it flat out in 6th on the approach to the chicane. You're not going to see a faster crash than this at Suzuka, but he gets away relatively unscathed. Only a small hit on the wall. And then on the approach to the chicane, I had the inside line. I was aware that Sutter was on the outside, but he was clever. I think he saw that I was going in a bit hot, so he switched back and then had the inside line as we approached the start-finish straight. I just managed to have a bit more speed than him, so I kept my nose in front, and shortly we'll see him decide just to tuck himself back in behind me to try and pick up any draft and get any extra little bit of speed that he can. He just leaves it a little bit too late though and runs out of straight, so I managed to hold the position and take the defensive line. Now we're going to rewind a few corners, and remember, Weatherall's spin? We'll spare a thought for this poor guy in the blue car. He's battling his own race a few positions further back, and then out of nowhere we're going to see Weatherall rejoin and spin again right in his path. He takes another big hit, and yeah, really unlucky for this guy in the blue car because he's picked up some severe front end damage from that hit, and it's probably ruined his race. Just about keeping Sutter at bay now. He's almost a second behind. And we've got Herrero in front. He's 2.5 seconds down the road. So we're in a comfortable position now. 8th place would be a really good finish for us. So we just need to keep things steady. Oh, might have broke a little bit late and ran a bit deep into the hairpin, but it looks like Sutter behind did exactly the same. So we've actually gained a couple of tenths out of that corner. Yeah, that gap's up to 1.1 seconds now to Sutter, so that's really encouraging. Oh, but missed the apex completely here. Drifting out wide. That's surely going to cost me those tenths and bring Sutter back into play. What's the gap? Yeah, look, it's down to 0.6. So that's lost us half a second, that mistake. So we can't be making too many more of those, that's for sure. Now I know Sutter's a lot better on the brakes than me coming into this chicane, so we can expect to see him close up even more now. And he closes right up, and in fact he gives me a little tap. It's not enough to send me off course though. It might have even pushed me through this chicane a bit faster than I normally go. But incredible stuff. We're really battling now. We're going to have to work hard to defend this 8th position for the last couple of laps. 0.6 seconds the gap between myself and Sutter. I know I'm a little bit faster than him through this section, so I really need to capitalise if I can and hit every apex as neatly as possible. Carry as much speed as I can, and yeah, we are opening up that gap again. Oh, and there's another yellow out. Who's binned it this time? It's certainly not Herrero ahead. He's still on track, but there's a bit of dust. And there's a car on the right. Oh, don't re-enter just yet. No, we've just got around him. That was Defino by the looks of things, so we're up to 7th now. Yeah, let's check out the replay and see what happened to Defino. He was actually running in a fairly comfortable 5th position. He was under no pressure, but he was clearly pushing it because the rear stepped out there. He tried to save it, but he was a passenger after that. The car just wasn't having it and sends him into the gravel. Oh, it's over 3 seconds now, that gap back to Sutter. That's really encouraging. It felt like a fast lap, that last lap, and we've really opened up a gap now, so we're going to have, hopefully, a comfortable last lap. Herrero's 3 seconds ahead, so I don't think we're going to catch him, barring a mistake. I'm not going to rule anything out in this race, and there is a yellow flag. Has Herrero binned it? No, he hasn't. He's still on track, so it must be the driver in front of him. Is it Jota? Yeah, it must be, and Herrero's right on him now, so they're going to have a right battle for 5th place. So this 5th position must be jinxed, because now we're going to see another driver under absolutely no pressure in 5th just completely lose it for no apparent reason. It's the same old story, just getting on the gas a little bit too early, and the rear steps out. He manages to get back on, but not before Herrero is caught right up with him, and these two guys are going to have a proper battle now for that 5th position. Jota's still holding it at the moment, but Herrera's got the speed. He's carrying the speed around this corner. They're too wide as they come up to this left-hander. Herrera is on the inside. He's going to make the move stick, providing he keeps to his line, which he does do. So Herrera is now in 5th place. Jota is down to 6th, and I'm desperately trying to catch up with them back there in 7th. But Jota's not done yet as they begin the long straightaway down towards the chicane. Jota pulls out. He's got the move up the inside into this fast left-hander. This is going to be really brave if he makes it stick, and he does do. And he even tucks back onto the racing line safely. So it's great battling between these two. I'm just watching the action unfold from behind. So the clock is down to 0, and I was expecting to see the checkered flag come out, but I'm guessing that the race leader must have just crossed the line before the clock reached 0, so we're going to get a bonus lap here. I'm glad I put some extra fuel in. We've got enough to get us to the line. You never know, maybe one of the 2 cars in front hasn't. But they're still battling really closely, so I'm not going to rule out the fact that they might take each other out as well, because they are really pushing. So we've just got to make sure we do all we can to stay in touch with them, so that we can pounce on any mistake that gets made. And what's the gap to them? It's 2.5 seconds, so that's a really big gap to try and close in the space of 1 lap. So we're definitely going to be relying on mistakes being made. But all we can do is push. Oh, and there's a yellow out, but I don't think it's either of those 2 ahead. So whether we've got someone else go off, or it looks like a back marker is going to rejoin, and I just had to ease off. I was worried about him rejoining there, and I had to ease off the throttle, and that's going to cost me some valuable tenths, and that might be my chances of a higher position over with, although we are still sticking with these guys, and the gap is down to 2 seconds now. So in all that, we have gained some time. Jota and Herrera are obviously taking chunks out of each other, and it's slowing them both down. At the moment, Herrera's holding 5th position, Jota's in 6th. Suspect that might change before the end, because Jota is looking like he wants to make a move. Yeah, it looks like Jota's right in Herrera's slipstream now. He's going to use every bit of draft that he can, and I expect to see him pull out very shortly to try and make that pass. He's going to have a look around the outside of this turn. As he knows, he thinks better of it, but he's going to try and position himself for an outside entry into the chicane. This is going to be brave. He's done it, but can he make it stick? No, he can't. He just brakes a bit too late. Herrera was wise to it, takes the position back, and he's done enough to get 5th place. I just sat back and admired that battle. The checkered flag is out, and we're going to take 7th place. More than happy with that, starting from 13th on the grid. We've gained a bunch of positions during that race, mainly from all the carnage that happened around us. Well, that was really good fun. RaceRoom has delivered big time again. So I'm in a run of pretty good form at the moment, and my rating has really benefited, and it has done again here. We've gained another 20 points to the rating, and we're now up to 1,593, moving ever closer to that 1,600 mark. And reputation looking good as well at 92.8. So time for the classified results, and there's your winner, Louis, with a fastest lap of 2:06 flat. A really impressive time. The standard for this race has been incredible. Even though it's only a rookie race, there's been some really fast drivers on the grid here. But yeah, for me, a 7th position, which was way better than I could have hoped after qualifying 13th. And with Jota and Herrera battling so well in front of me, we're actually only 3 seconds off a potential 5th place. So really encouraging signs. But all in all, that was a fantastic race to drive in. These F4 cars in RaceRoom are so much fun. I think I'll struggle to find a single-seater car in any sim that's more fun to drive than this one. So I hope that you've enjoyed watching the video as much as I've enjoyed racing in it. I'll catch up with you again soon, guys. Cheers. Take it easy.